In the dusty town of Sundown Gulch, 1875, the air was thick with tension as the scorching sun beat down upon the wooden boardwalks and the swinging saloon doors. The town was known for its rough and rowdy ways, and the local saloon was the heart of all the commotion. Inside the saloon, the dimly lit room was filled with the sounds of laughter, whiskey being poured, and the clinking of glasses. Cowboys, outlaws, and drifters gathered, each carrying their own stories and seeking a momentary escape from the harsh realities of the Old West. Among the crowd there were two rival groups who had been at odds for months. On one side stood Jack QuickDraw Thompson and his gang, a notorious bunch with a reputation for trouble. On the other side were the Morrison Brothers, strong-willed and hot-tempered, who never backed down from a fight. As the night wore on and the drinks flowed freely, a heated exchange erupted between the two factions. Insults were flung like bullets, and soon enough a bar stool went flying across the room, shattering against the wall. That was all it took to spark an all-out brawl. Chaos ensued as fists flew, bottles crashed, and chairs were overturned. The piano player halted his tune, and the patrons either cowered or joined in, reveling in the chaos. The saloon's bartender ducked behind the counter, keeping a watchful eye on the unruly patrons. Amidst the mayhem, Jack QuickDraw and the eldest Morrison brother, Frank, locked eyes. They were the leaders of their respective groups, and their long-standing feud had reached a breaking point. The room fell eerily silent as they squared off in the center of the saloon. With a menacing glare, Frank taunted, "You've been asking for this, Jack." QuickDraw replied, a steely resolve in his voice, "Bring it on, Morrison, I ain't backing down." The tension was palpable as the two men circled each other, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Then, in a blur of movement, fists collided, and the saloon erupted into cheers and jeers. The fight raged on, the two adversaries trading blow after blow, neither willing to yield. Tables were overturned and the floor was slick with spilled liquor. The other patrons stood back, giving them enough space to settle their score. But just as the fight seemed to escalate to a dangerous level, a gunshot rang out from the saloon's entrance, causing everyone to freeze. The sheriff had arrived, and he wasn't about to let the chaos continue on his watch. With a stern gaze, he ordered, "That's enough. Put down your weapons and step back." Reluctantly, the brawlers obeyed, lowering their fists and backing away from each other. The sheriff quickly disarmed anyone still clutching a weapon, ensuring the peace was restored. As the dust settled and the adrenaline subsided, Jack and Frank stared at each other with newfound respect. Perhaps it was the realization that their feud had nearly cost them their lives, or the intervention of the law that sobered them. From that day on, a shaky truce was established between the two factions. The saloon brawl became a legendary tale in Sundown Gulch, a reminder of how tempers and egos could lead to destruction,